Today we're talking to St Albans City manager Ian Allinson at a windy Clarence Park, where the Saints have gone down to a 2-0 National League South defeat. It's not been a great 4 days for the club, Ian, following our FA Cup defeat on Wednesday night. I thought today Bath had we had a couple of chances early on, then Bath got that early goal, and we certainly controlled the first half. The second half we had a lot of possession, but it seemed to be a lack of conviction about our play.
I thought we did start off bright. I mean, we had 2 or 3 really good shots which went straight to the keeper. We looked on the front foot and looked good, and I don't know whether it was the first goal, which just knocked a bit of stuffing out of us, but we never really recovered after that. I was disappointed with the 2 goals though, because I felt that we gave possession away high up the park, and they've travelled long distances, and certainly with the first goal, I think he's travelled sort of 40 or 50 yards and had a shot. He's mishit the shot, and the lad standing on the back post just tapped it in from 4 or 5 yards out, and we were way too deep, way too deep. We never went and pressed and put pressure on the ball. And then I didn't think we really recovered after that, David. I think they then got the second goal. I don't know, I need to have a look at it. I thought Dean should have done better with it. Sort of went through his hands again. So, and then it's an uphill task again. You know, it's something that we seem to be having week in, week out, week in, week out. So we changed the shape slightly in the second half, in 15 minutes, and I felt we had more penetration. We condensed the game more, but I still thought our passing was slow. I think we got in some really good opportunities, and our crossing was poor. Just overall, it's just been a really poor week. So we've got to go away. We've got 2 weeks now. We've got a break where we've got to go and work hard on everything really to try and get us back into where we was 2 weeks ago. So we can make as many excuses as we like. We just haven't been good enough over the last 2 games.
It's strange. Only a couple of weeks ago we were knocking in goals left, right and centre. We went into this game on the back of 4 straight league wins, and as I say, scoring a lot of goals, but the confidence seemed to drain out very, very quickly.
As soon as the first goal went in, yeah, I mean, as I say, we don't really know what you know, the consequence of Wednesday night was going to be until we conceded that goal. But you know, we did struggle today. But you know, let's not take everything away from how good Bath were. Got a really good side, I feel there. They've built a good side. Got some really good players, and the system worked for them. And I didn't think our system worked for us today. So you know, I've got to go away and think long and hard over the next 14 days what we've got to do, and whether it's something that might need changing. We might need a little bit more of a different personnel coming in, because at the moment 1 or 2 players do look a bit stale. I mean, David Noble was tired from Wednesday. You know, he got home at 2 o'clock and then he's doing 16,000 steps with a wheelbarrow for 2 days. So we didn't take a chance of him today, and I just felt we missed his creativity today. He gets on the ball and passes it quick. I just think we went too sideways too quickly. Never looked to go forward with the ball, and then we just isolate the 2 forwards, and the 2 forwards become part of on themselves, and when we do get the ball up to them, it's they're fighting with 2 big centre halves. And as I say, I thought the game got stretched out, and with the game getting stretched out, it didn't help us. I think it helped Bath more than us.
You mentioned there the formation, because you did switch to a back 4 in the second half when you brought Ben Hurt on. Is that something now you're considering?
We've got to think long and hard about it, Neil, because you know the 3. Though we've created loads of chances and scored lots of goals by playing that, and that's what I wanted from day one. But also you've got to take into consideration that you know sometimes you've got to be a little bit more defensive minded and a little bit more organised in the way you defend. And I felt today the 3, you know, I took a big chance really by leaving Ben Hurt out and playing Cal Da Costa in terms of the wing back role, because being at home I just felt he could occupy their fullback, which he did, but we didn't do a good job on the left winger. So we got a little bit isolated there. They started to find little pockets in and around the wide areas, and it causes a few problems. So it is something that we've got to look at, but it's, you know, can we go 4-4-2 or 4-5-1, or do we stay with the 3 and still get the 2 up front? But it's something that I wanted to do all season. You know, with the calibre of forwards we've got here, we've got to obviously try and get the ball to them, but also get good crosses in the box. And today I didn't think we did either of that, even though we said, you know, we've had 3 or 4 really good opportunities in terms of breaking and getting shots on target. But I felt their keeper in the end was outstanding for them. He came and collected big crosses when he had to, and took the pressure off them, and we just kept putting pressure on ourselves because we failed to put balls forward in right areas. We just wanted to play in front of them, and they were quite happy for us to go and do that today. So
in terms of a reaction that you wanted from Taunton, you probably didn't get it, is that it?
I felt in the first 10 minutes we got it, but as David said, as soon as the first goal went in, I thought it just knocked a little bit of confidence, and we never really got going again after that. I felt once we went to a bit more of a tighter unit in the second half, we we were more aggressive in the game in the second half, and I felt we put them under more pressure. Though when we got in some really good areas, I felt our final cross or our final ball or our final pass was poor today. I didn't think it was sharp enough. I watched us in the warm-up and we looked really sharp, and I thought, we're going to have a reaction to what happened. But I just think that first goal went in and we just lacked a little bit of confidence, and we shouldn't be. But you're taking Ben Hurd out the side, you're taking David Noble out the side. We are quite a young side from that side of it, and there's going to be ups and downs, as we said. But we've got to overcome them things. And a couple of weeks ago we were 2-0 down at Chelmsford and come back with, as I said before, 2-0 down at Weston. But at the moment it's becoming too much of a habit in having to give goals away too early. Game getting stretched, and then we've got to go and chase games. And in the end, and the question at half time was, let's make sure we don't come out and lose the second half, which we didn't. Because I felt at one stage in that last 10 minutes of the first half that could have quite easily gone 3-4 or even 5 at that stage. I felt the game was far too stretched for our liking. We were getting caught out in poor areas, but as I said there, I felt our passing today wasn't sharp, wasn't bright, and some of our options were poor today. We picked the wrong options on a numerous number of occasions, which led to them picking the ball up and breaking. I think their second goal, Ralston's tried to do a trick and it's not worked. Obviously the pitches are a bit long still and grassy. He's gone over and they've travelled for their own 18-yard box and scored on our 18-yard box within sort of 30 to 40 seconds, and that can't be right, because people can't travel from one box to the other and not someone put a challenge in. And we have to work extremely hard for the amount of goals we've scored and the quality of the goals we've scored. And at the moment we're just conceding poor goals at poor times. And I've got to go away and look at everything now, and that means from the goalkeeper right the way through the side, because we can't have two performances like we just had for the last two games.
And you've talked about personnel. Obviously you'll have to potentially look with Richard Shaw-Silver's injury.
Well, exactly. So we've lost Richard for the season. I think Percy's on 4 bookings now, so we've got to be careful there. But again, it's something we're going to have a look at over the next. I mean, the good thing about it, we've got a 2-week break now, but then we go into 2 tough games against Slough and against Welling. So that's going to be tough. So we've got to look at where we are first and foremost. But we need to look at the personnel in terms of if we are going to change it, how we change it, and what it's going to, in terms of our attacking options, will it take something away from there? So as I say, I've got to go and look at it long and hard. But as I say, we need to just get back to doing some basics. And I'm just thinking at the moment we've got too many players just complicating our game, and we're not. I think they're trying extremely hard, but you can't win a game of football on your own. You have to win a game of football as a team, and we've got a few individuals at the moment who are good players, but they've got to go and become a team member again and not an individual.
You talked about it's a good thing having this 2-week break to our next game, gives you a chance to look at personnel, but would you rather have a game next Saturday and try and get these past 2 games out of our system as quickly as possible?
We tried to get a game, but unfortunately with the conference rules we couldn't bring the East Thurrock game forward, so we have to accept what they say at times. But as I say, we just need to take stock with it all. It's been the last 3 or 4 weeks has been a total farce in terms of not knowing what we had in place, when we were going to go here, when was we going to play Whiteleaf, when was we not going to play Whiteleaf, are we going to play Corinthian Casuals, are we going to play them on a Saturday or a Sunday, where is it at, it's at Metcalfe, then we've got to go to Taunton on a Wednesday. And so all these little things haven't been great in terms of planning and preparation, but the last 2 games we haven't been good enough, and I think we go back to the Corinthian Casuals first game here, we wasn't good enough. So for 20 minutes at Chelmsford we wasn't good enough, so we have a slight problem. I think we've got a good side, we've got a good changing room, we've got good players, but we might still need to change 1 or 2 things to get all those players playing back to the level they were playing a couple of weeks ago, because as I say, even at Chelmsford at 2-0 down, we were poor. We got away with it that day, got away with it against Corinthian Casuals, I feel here. Much more professional in the way we're in a job at the Corinthian Casuals, but I can't complain about today, because I thought the boys put a really good effort in and they tried to get something out of the game, but I just didn't think we were good enough on the day in terms of our passing, in terms of the penetration we had going forward and the way we isolated the 2 forwards at times. But they've also got to they've got to work extremely hard when they haven't got the ball, and sometimes we haven't done that today.
Would you like to say a bit more in detail about Richard Shaw-Silver's injury? Well,
it looks like what it is. I mean, he's done a cruciate, which is an ACL, so it's not completely torn. It's more just of a tear. So we're trying to get him in at any stage now for an operation which will repair it. But the surgeon has said that anything up to a year he's going to be out. So whether it'll be 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, I think is obviously going to take in terms of the rehab he gets. but first and foremost, you know, he's got to get the operation. So it is a blow, but you know, these things happen in football. You have to accept it and get on with it. And you know, it's just one of them things that we have to look at. Do we need to bring somebody else in? Because the squad, as I said there, the squad's 16 today. And that's how it's been for most of the season. With Richard was 17, so we always had a little bit of cover. But you know, with Percy on 4 bookings now, and I think Ben Herts on 3 bookings, so we have to be careful in terms of where the squad is. But that's, you know, we might have to bring 1 or 2 players in just to strengthen it in terms of what we've got going into the next 2 weeks. But you know, we need to go and train hard now. Plan and prepare a little bit better than we have done in terms of the goals we've given away, because we've got to make sure we work harder than what we've done in terms of the goals we've given away, because every time we broke today they had somebody that stopped us and they put us under massive pressure to try and even get a shot on goal, where I think we've allowed them to get 2 shots, 3 shots on goal today, and 2 of them ended up in goals.
Lovely, thanks very much, Ian.
No
so, no game for the Saints next Saturday. Hopefully nobody will find us a friendly against the side from Somerset anyway. We're next back in action on the 27th of October when Slough Town are visitors to Clarence Park. National League South, kick-off is at 3 o'clock.